desert night was silent, broken only by the roar of flames tearing through a Volkswagen Beetle. Inside the smoldering wreckage was a body, motionless, lifeless. Was this a horrifying accident, or did someone intend for this scene to unfold? The answers would send shockwaves through an entire community and expose secrets no one could have predicted. What truly happened on that fateful night in 1964? Stay with us to uncover the shocking truth, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more interesting stories. When Engine 24 rounded the curve onto Banyan Street, the firefighters encountered an apocalyptic tableau. A Volkswagen Beetle blazed against the desert backdrop, its metal frame twisted by heat, windows shattered from thermal stress. The fire's intensity suggested an accelerant. The flames burned too hot, too fast for a typical car fire. Standing nearby, a woman watched the inferno with unsettling composure. Lucille Miller, 34, wore a beige coat despite the warmth of the flames. Her carefully styled hair and immaculate makeup seemed incongruous at this hour and this place. "My husband's inside," she told the first responders, her voice steady. "Gordon wasn't feeling well. I was taking him to the hospital when the car started acting strange. Then, this happened." Fire Captain Robert Martinez would later testify about the oddities that immediately struck him. No skid marks on the road, despite Lucille's claim of sudden mechanical failure. Clean cuts in the tires that suggested deliberate slashing rather than blowouts. And most tellingly, a red gas can lying in the scrub brush 20 feet from the burning vehicle. When firefighters finally extinguished the blaze, they found Dr. Gordon Miller's body slumped in the driver's seat. The position seemed unnatural for someone who had supposedly been conscious when the fire began. There were no signs of struggle, no indication he had tried to escape. To understand the events that led to that fiery night, we must first understand Lucille Miller's journey from ambitious immigrant to accused murderer. Born Lucille Raven in 1930 in Winnipeg, Manitoba, she grew up in a working-class family during the Great Depression. Her father, a railroad worker, instilled in her a burning desire for social advancement. Her mother, a seamstress, taught her that beauty and charm could open doors that talent and hard work sometimes couldn't. Young Lucille excelled in school, particularly in drama and public speaking. Classmates remembered her as magnetic, always at the center of social activities. She had plans, called childhood friend Margaret Stevenson. Even at 15, she talked about moving to California, living in a big house, and being somebody important. In 1948, 18-year-old Lucille crossed the border into the United States. She settled first in Seattle, working as a dental assistant while taking night classes at business administration. It was there she first encountered Gordon Miller, a quiet, studious dental student from San Bernardino. Gordon fell hard for the vivacious Canadian girl with big dreams. Friends described their courtship as a whirlwind. Gordon pursued Lucille with uncharacteristic boldness. They married in 1950, and Gordon brought his bride home to California's Inland Empire. San Bernardino in the 1950s embodied post-war American prosperity. The city was growing rapidly, fueled by aerospace jobs and military spending. New subdivisions sprouted from former orange groves, offering returning veterans and young professionals the promise of suburban paradise. The Millers settled in Alta Loma, an exclusive enclave where success was measured in square footage and social connections. Their Spanish-style ranch house at 8777 Bella Vista Drive featured the latest modern conveniences. A built-in dishwasher, central air conditioning, and a kidney-shaped swimming pool. All symbols of having made it in mid-century California. Gordon's dental practice flourished. Located in a professional building downtown, it catered to San Bernardino's upper middle class. He developed a reputation for careful work and gentle manner, particularly with anxious patients. Lucille threw herself into the role of professional's wife and community leader. She joined the junior league, served on the PTA board, and taught Sunday school at First Presbyterian Church. Their 3 children, born 1955, Gordon Jr. 1957, and Deborah 1960, attended private school, took lessons in everything from piano to horseback riding. They seemed to have everything, their neighbor Charlotte Weber stated. A beautiful house, a successful practice, those adorable children. Lucille always looked like she'd stepped out of a magazine. Gordon was so devoted. By 1963, however, the Millers' seemingly perfect life showed signs of strain. Despite Gordon's annual income of over $60,000, equivalent to more than $500 today, they struggled. Lucille's spending regularly exceeded their budget. Credit card bills mounted. Mortgage payments on their house lagged. A detailed examination of their finances, later conducted by prosecutors, revealed a pattern of escalating debt. Lucille had charge accounts at every major department store in San Bernardino. She bought designer clothes from Los Angeles boutiques, redecorated the house regularly, and insisted on expensive private schools and activities for the children. Gordon worked longer hours trying to keep up with the bills. He added evening appointments and began seeing patients on Saturdays. The additional income barely made a dent in their mounting debts. Former employees at Gordon's dental practice noted his increasing anxiety about money. His nurse, Sarah Chen, testified that he frequently asked about outstanding patient bills and seemed preoccupied with financial matters. The pressure was clearly getting to him, Chen recalled. He started making mistakes, small ones at first, then more serious. He'd forget appointments or mix up patient records. Sometimes his hands shook so badly he had to reschedule procedures. Enjoying the story so far? Subscribe for more in-depth true crime stories. As financial pressures mounted, the Millers' marriage began to fray. Gordon retreated into work in solitude, spending evenings in his study reviewing patient files or sitting alone by the pool. He began taking prescription barbiturates for insomnia and anxiety, medications he could easily obtain through his medical conditions. Lucille, meanwhile, threw herself into an increasingly active social life. She joined additional committees, volunteered for more church activities, and expanded her circle of friends among San Bernardino's professional class. It was through these social connections that she met Arthwell Hayton, a prominent attorney whose office was near Gordon's dental practice. Arthwell represented everything Gordon wasn't: sophisticated, socially adept, and seemingly unburdened by financial worries. Arthwell Hayton cut an impressive figure in San Bernardino society. At 43, he had built one of the most successful law practices in the dental. His clients included prominent businesses and wealthy individuals throughout Southern California. Dark-haired, athletic, impeccably dressed, he possessed the easy charm of someone accustomed to moving in privileged circles. The precise beginning of Lucille and Arthwell's relationship remained unclear, even after extensive investigation. They likely first met at a church fundraiser in early 1963. Their initial interactions seemed innocent enough: casual conversations at social events, friendly greetings when their paths crossed downtown. But by summer 1963, their relationship had deepened. Witnesses reported seeing them together at restaurants in Riverside and Palm Springs, far enough from San Bernardino to avoid local gossip. They attended cultural events in Los Angeles, explaining their companionship as committee work for various charitable organizations. Their attraction might have remained just another hidden suburban affair, except for one crucial detail. Alberta Hayton, Arthwell's wife, died unexpectedly in September 1963. Her death, ruled accidental, involved a fall down the stairs. No autopsy was performed, and the police investigation was cursory at best. Lucille's behavior following Alberta's death raised eyebrows. She organized meals for the grieving widower, spent hours helping him sort through Alberta's belongings, and became a frequent visitor to his home, ostensibly to check on his welfare. Want more true crime stories with unexpected twists? Like and subscribe. In April 1964, Gordon Miller made a decision that would later seem pressing or suspicious. He substantially increased his life insurance coverage. A new policy, worth $75,000, equivalent to over $700,000 today, named Lucille as the sole beneficiary. The insurance agent, Theodore Franklin, later testified about the unusual circumstances surrounding the policy's purchase. Dr. Miller seemed reluctant, Franklin recalled. He asked multiple times about the premium costs, but Mrs. Miller was insistent. She handled most of the paperwork herself. The timing coincided with a period of increasing financial strain for the Millers. Their credit card debt had reached $22,000. The mortgage on their Alta Loma home was 3 months in arrears. Gordon's dental practice, while still successful, struggled to keep pace with their expenses. The week before Gordon's death showed no obvious signs of impending tragedy. On Sunday, October 4th, the Millers attended church as usual. They hosted a small dinner party that evening, where guests later described them as perfectly normal. Monday and Tuesday passed routinely. Gordon saw patients at his practice. Lucille attended a junior league meeting and took the children to their various activities. She met Arthwell Hayton for lunch on Tuesday, a fact she initially denied to investigators, but later admitted when confronted with witness testimony. Wednesday, October 7th, began like any other day. Gordon left for work at 7:30 a.m. Lucille drove the children to school, attended a charity committee meeting, and spent the afternoon shopping in downtown San Bernardino. That evening, something changed. Gordon called his last patient to his schedule, complaining of feeling unwell. He arrived home early, around 6 p.m. Neighbors reported seeing Lucille make several trips between the house and garage throughout the evening. The events between midnight and 1:30 a.m. on October 8th become the subject of intense scrutiny. Lucille's account, given to investigators, contained details that seemed simultaneously precise and vague. According to her initial statement, Gordon had taken sleeping pills and complained of nausea. She decided to drive him to San Bernardino Hospital, choosing the longer route along Banyan Street because the desert air might help him feel better. She claimed the Volkswagen began swerving unexpectedly. She pulled over to check the tires, stepping out while Gordon was in the passenger seat. Suddenly, she said, flames erupted from the engine compartment. Despite her efforts to rescue Gordon, the fire spread too quickly. But physical evidence told a different story. The position of Gordon's body in the driver's seat, not the passenger's, contradicted her account. Forensic analysis showed the tires had been slashed before the fire started. The gas can found nearby contained traces of the same fuel that accelerated the fire. Most damning was the autopsy report. Gordon's blood contained near-fatal levels of barbiturates. He had been unconscious, possibly already dead, when the fire began. The San Bernardino Sheriff's Department assigned Detective Frank Holloway as lead investigator, a veteran officer known for his methodical approach. Within hours of the fire, inconsistencies in Lucille's story began to surface. The physical evidence told a story that directly contradicted Mrs. Miller's account, Holloway would later testify. The slash marks on the tires showed deliberate preparation. The gas can had her fingerprints. Most importantly, the driver's seat positioning hadn't been adjusted for someone. Interviews with neighbors revealed unusual activities in the days leading up to Gordon's death. Charlotte Weber reported seeing Lucille making several trips to a local hardware store. Another neighbor, James Martinez, observed her practicing parallel parking with Volkswagen on Banyan Street, the same location where Gordon would later die. As investigators dug deeper, Lucille's carefully constructed facade began to crumble. Bank records revealed 17 withdrawals from Gordon's business account the month before his death, totaling over $12,000. Each check bore Gordon's signature, but handwriting analysts would later testify that several appeared to be forged. The relationship with Arthwell Hayton proved impossible to conceal. Multiple witnesses came forward with accounts of clandestine meetings, hushed phone calls, and intimate dinners in distant restaurants. Hotel registers in Palm Springs and Los Angeles contained their names, thinly disguised but unmistakable. Most damaging was the testimony of Gordon's nurse, Sarah Chen, who recalled a conversation just weeks before his death. Dr. Miller told me he planned to confront Lucille about the missing money, Chen testified. He said he had proof of her forgeries and was considering divorce. The trial began on January 12, 1965, transforming the San Bernardino County Courthouse into a media circus. Reporters from across the country descended on the quiet inland city, drawn by a story that seemed to embody the dark underbelly of suburban prosperity. District Attorney Jerome Sullivan built his case methodically, presenting evidence that painted a picture of premeditation and calculation. The prosecution's theory was simple. Lucille Miller, facing financial ruin and the collapse of her social standing, chosen murder over divorce. The defense, led by prominent attorney Edward Robinson, attempted to portray Gordon's death as a tragic accident, suggesting that his documented use of barbiturates had led to erratic behavior and possibly suicide. But they struggled to explain the physical evidence, the slashed tires, the strategically placed gas cans, the deliberate nature of the fire's origin. The trial revealed deep fissures in San Bernardino's social fabric. The community split between those who saw Lucille as a calculating murderer and others who viewed her as a victim of societal expectations and personal desperation. Junior League ladies attended court daily, their presence a silent testament to the complexity of suburban social bonds. Some supported Lucille steadfastly, while others distanced themselves, eager to avoid association with scandal. Arthwell Hayton, called as a witness, attempted to minimize his relationship with Lucille. His testimony, delivered with careful precision, seemed rehearsed. The prosecution used his evasiveness to suggest a deeper conspiracy, though no evidence ever linked him directly to Gordon's murder. After 6 weeks of testimony and 3 days of deliberation, the jury returned their verdict on March 1, 1965, guilty of first-degree murder. The courtroom fell silent as Lucille Miller, impeccably dressed in a Navy suit, received her sentence, life imprisonment. The conviction sent shockwaves through California's inner life. It challenged comfortable assumptions about suburban safety and respectability. The case became a cautionary tale about the dangers lurking beneath manicured lawns and behind Spanish-style facades. The Miller children, shielded from much of the publicity by relatives, faced their own struggles. Diana, Gordon Jr., and Deborah were separated and sent to live in various family homes. Their mother's conviction marked them in ways that would echo through their lives for decades to come. Lucille Miller served 7 years before being paroled in 1972. She maintained her innocence until her death in 1986, though she never provided an alternative explanation for the events of that October night. Arthwell Hayton continued his law practice, but his reputation never fully recovered. The questions surrounding his wife's death remained unresolved, fueling speculation that would persist long after the Miller case faded from headlines. The case left an indelible mark on San Bernardino. The stretch of Banyan Street where Gordon Miller died became known locally as Devil's Street. The Miller house on Bella Vista Drive, despite multiple owners and renovations, retained its notorious reputation. Today, the case serves as more than just another entry in California's rich true crime history. It stands as a testament to the complex interplay of ambition, desire, and desperation that can transform the American dream into a nightmare. In the end, the fire that consumed Gordon Miller illuminated dark truths about marriage, money, and murder in mid-century suburban America. If this story intrigued you, hit that like button and subscribe for more. Share your theories in the comments. Was Lucille a victim or a villain? Until next time, stay curious and stay questioning.